Our next storyteller is a comedian, a story coach, and a time traveler, but in reverse order. He, as a recovering software engineer and product designer, he now helps people to find their North Star in life through personal stories by using his new methodology called Love First. Everyone, please give it up for Faruk Atesh.
Will asked us to wear bright colors to stand out against the background, and I figured I'd wear something loud enough you can hear it in the back. So my first relationship was this girl in Melbourne, Australia. Her parents were the strict Christian type who would only ever approve of her dating a good Christian boy who would live somewhere within a 10-minute drive radius. I was an atheist from the Netherlands with a Muslim name who flew halfway across the planet to have sex with their daughter and probably not even marry her. I did not get introduced. We had met through the internet because finding romance online was kind of my jam back then. I was very self-conscious as a teenager, and I did not think I was cute or attractive at all, even into my early 20s. I can imagine it's hard to believe given how obviously vain I am today. But I grew up half Turkish in the Netherlands, and hence the name and the Dutch accent. As such, I was experiencing racism every so often, like kids bullying me over my name, or customers on the phone just like straight up insulting me for being Moroccan. All the girls that I was attracted to and interested in were never really interested in me that way. And throughout my early childhood and my adolescence, I kind of just always felt like I didn't quite belong. And that made me feel really awkward and insecure about my attractiveness. It didn't help that I had no real sense of personal style or identity, so I kept copying my friends' haircuts and fashion choices, which, surprise, didn't ever make me feel comfortable or authentic. So I relied on my charming wit and personality to flirt with people online. And that's where I met Lee, who lived in America. Lee's name is spelled L-E-I-G-H. Now, having grown up in the Netherlands, where no one has that name, and us only ever talking over chat, I thought it was pronounced Lay, as in Santa's sleigh, but without the S. Which led to some confusion when we began talking about visiting each other. We were kind of getting into it, and I started making all of these jokes over chat about how Santa's coming to town and we're getting lead. This was in the early 2000s when video chat was 2 frames per second and with no audio. Lee and I would usually chat over IRC, which is like AOL chat rooms for nerds. Or, as we might say today, Slack for old nerds. We would chat, we would send each other pictures. We'd even watch anime together by, queuing up the video and then one of us would count down, 3, 2, 1, and we'd hit play. It was cute, we were cute, and she was hella cute. Lee first visited me in the Netherlands, and we got along so well that we decided to do long-distance dating. And when I flew out to visit her in America and meet her family, so this was legit, the TSA agent at the airport security line asked me what the purpose of my visit was. And I proudly said, I'm here to visit my girlfriend. And he was just like, good for you. Did you bring condoms? Why, yes, I did, Mr. Random Security Officer. In fact, I pulled a condom out of my wallet to show him, and he was just like, no, don't keep them in your wallet. Your body heat might deteriorate them. Thanks for the unsolicited but useful health tip. I proceeded to meet Lee and have a wonderful Christmas with her and her family. And then as happy as things were going, I was still kind of like self-conscious, insecure, and awkward. But the relationship really validated me, at least into thinking that, hey, even awkward and insecure people like me can find love. It just might happen to be through the internet and on a different continent. Lee was starting college and beginning this brand new chapter in her life. I didn't go to college, I had a job, and I was working on building my future, so I started really writing her and us into my own personal life story. But we were long distance, which was hard, and it became especially difficult when she became good friends with this guy she had met in her college dorm. Nothing untoward was happening, but I could clearly tell that he was really into her and would have preferred her to be single. And he had kind of a big home team advantage. So I kind of started to get jealous because no matter whatever sort of like early stirrings of confidence I was getting from being in an actual relationship, I was still highly insecure on the inside. And so I started saying things to pull her closer towards me and make her more attached to me, like, oh, she's my whole world, and constantly defining myself in relation to her. I was her boyfriend. My story was our relationship. My dreams were our future together. So anytime she chose to hang out with this guy who she could actually see and talk to in person at convenient hours of the day, over sitting alone in her dorm room chatting on the internet whilst 4 frames per second of video was playing in the corner of the screen, I felt that choice like personal rejection of my entire being. And so gradually I started letting my insecurity and my jealousy color my actions, and it made me possessive and controlling. But as the wise sage Terry Crews said, it's impossible to love someone and control them at the same time. So invariably, my behavior led her to one day say to me, we need to talk. My heart sank. And over the next devastating hour and a half, I slowly experienced my entire world just collapsing into pieces. I had made her and the relationship my entire universe. And suddenly it was all gone. And with it, somehow, my personal sense of self-esteem and confidence had disappeared as well. I called in sick to work the next morning and the next day, and spent most of it just curled up in a ball, crying in bed. It took me weeks to piece myself together again like a puzzle. I even got a live journal. Yeah. Emo Faruk, blogging about his darkness and his suffering. I'm no good at acting, but I was great at drama. Eventually, Lee and I started talking again, and one day she just kind of had enough of my wallowing in self-pity. But Lee, I will never find anyone as smart and funny and cute as you again. She was having none of it. It's like, you'll be fine, dude. You're smart and funny and cute as well. Like, you'll find someone new. Wait a minute, I'm cute? Smart and funny, yeah, but cute? Throughout my life up to that point, all like 22 years of it, girls and women had occasionally called me cute, but I'd never believed them. I was highly insecure and super self-conscious, and they were just teasing me, right? But this was my ex-girlfriend, and she had loved me for a long time, and we had had lots of sex, and she was probably telling the truth, right? Am I cute? Next morning, I have breakfast with my mom, and I tell her about this chat and my tentative consideration that maybe I'm attractive after all. My mom just kind of like thinks for a moment and then asks me, like, do you remember when you were in the hospital for a week when you were a teenager? I was like, yeah. And do you remember when those 4 girls came to visit you in the hospital? I was like, yeah, my friends. And my mom just goes, no. You know how when people have a near-death experience and they see their whole life flashing by like a film reel of all of the best moments? Well, the same thing happens to you when you have been oblivious about something your entire life, and suddenly you've taken a step back and gained perspective. Except in my case, it was a film reel of all of the interactions with girls and women over the past 10 years, and zoomed out just a little bit with big arrows pointing to each and every one of them, and bright neon letters going, "She likes you, she's into you, that girl wants to kiss you, that girl wants to have sex with you." No! Craigslist. Missed connections. That day, my ugly duckling died. Or rather, it crashed and burned. And from the ashes rose a brand new person. I used the stories of my reel of misfortune to rewrite my personal narrative. I stopped telling myself that I was unattractive. And I started allowing that, at the very least, I was attractive enough to the people that I wanted to be attractive to me. Smart, sexy, nerdy women. I vowed never to let my jealousy take control over my actions again, and to never let my self-love, my personal sense of worthiness for love and belonging, to be given to me by anyone other than myself.